Air Canada, you guys really, really have some stuff to work on. Hey, what is up, guys? Nick from 4T here, back with another video. And today I got a rant for you. I don't like doing rant videos. However, I think this one is kind of necessary given my most recent experiences with Air Canada on a Europe trip with my family. So, I don't know if anyone has been following the news or any type of airline news recently, but Air Canada recently announced that they are cutting anywhere between 10 to 15% of flights for the summer. That means canceling, delaying, whatever you want to call it. They're cutting a lot of flights. People cannot fly Air Canada, and the reason for this being have to deal with increased travel demand. Now that the pandemic is starting to wind down, people are starting to get vaccinated. They're short staffed. Typical reasons why businesses struggle during like a resurgence in demand. So like people are trying to travel again. People are trying to go overseas. People are trying to go. They're trying to get out of the U.S., get out of Canada, get out of wherever they're trying to go because they're getting vaccinated. It's safe to travel again. People are starting to remove mask mandates. It's understandable. Like, they can get overwhelmed because the airline isn't ready to take on the sudden increase in demand of travel. It's just like simple business type stuff. But boy, did things go like horribly wrong recently, not just for me, but for many other people flying Air Canada. And that's what I'm about to tell you, my story with Air Canada. So I'm gonna try to be as like compact and quick about this as possible, because if I told you the whole story about everything that happened with Air Canada, it'd be like an hour-long video. Like, nobody wants to watch that. It's something that you gossip with your family with, honestly. So basically what happened was we're supposed to fly from Chicago to Montreal to Barcelona. So our flight from Chicago to Montreal gets delayed by an hour and a half-ish. And our layover in Montreal is only so long. It's only like 2 hours, not even, I think. So it was only 2 hours, something like that. So we're a bunch of people on this plane from Chicago to Montreal are freaking out because there's like 15, 20 of us that were supposed to go on that plane from Montreal to Barcelona. And usually, like, if you there's a lot of airlines that usually hold like the plane a little bit if there's a certain number of people that need to make it from a connection flight. Yeah, Air Canada didn't do that. So on top of freaking out about missing our international flight, because international flights are, I don't know how many of you guys, I'm assuming a lot of you guys have flown international before, but you cannot mess up international flights. Like, there's only so many flights that leave a hub, leave an airport or a hub a certain number of times per day or whatever. It's tough to get on other planes. You could probably get on another airline's flight to that location, but then you have to worry about reimbursement, and that's another thing I'll get to later. Air Canada's reimbursement policy is absolutely atrocious. But anyway, we were dealing with bad customer support in Chicago. They finally get our plane around 4. We're supposed to leave at like 4:40. Our original time to leave was 3. It was pushed back to 4:45, but they moved us to a new gate around 3:45. And there's a plane outside. There's an Air Canada plane outside of this new gate. The pilots are sitting in the waiting area, like at the gate, just snacking and talking. A flight attendant comes up to one of the captains and goes, "Hey, do you guys want to like start boarding? You just want to take your time?" And they said, "Oh, we're gonna take our time." I'm sorry, like, take our time when a lot of people are going to miss an international connection flight? That's just like, it frustrated us so much that it wasn't even worth trying to comprehend. So we decided to wing it. We decided to get on our plane from Chicago to Montreal. As soon as we get to Montreal, our flight from Montreal to Barcelona is leaving. Like, it left. Like, our friends were on that plane. They texted us and said, "Our plane is leaving right now. Like, there's no way you can get on a plane." So now comes like the big situation of trying to get our luggages and potentially stay in Montreal for a night or two until we can get on a new Air Canada flight to Barcelona. Yeah, that did not go well. So Montreal Airport, because it's an international airport, they have their own policies with you can't leave the airport without your bags or something like that. And the thing is, we couldn't get our bags. Like, we didn't know if our bags were going to be stuck in the Montreal airport or because they were tagged, if they were just going to go straight to Barcelona on the next flight, because we couldn't get any other flight. We couldn't book another Air Canada flight from Montreal to Barcelona. So we had to go through Air Canada's whole ordeal of, filling out for lost luggage, even though it wasn't really lost. We had to wait. This was around, I'd say, 10:30 at night by this point, waiting in the line to file for lost luggage and dealing with the airport's stupid police. So around 11, we go up to the main, check-in area of Air Canada, and there is, I'd say, like 200 people in line maybe, and by this point it's getting late, so the airport's starting to close down. So we had no choice but to try and wait in line with 200 other people to try and talk to Air Canada about getting us on a new flight to, by this point, not even Barcelona. We went to Portugal instead, because we were also planning to go in Portugal on this trip. We're going to meet our friends there later, because they were still in Spain at the time. So, yeah, we waited in line from, I would say, 11 all the way until 5, 6 in the morning, because the line was moving really slow, obviously. There's so many people in line that were trying to get on the next flight to their destination because Air Canada was canceling all these flights. They were having so many customer service issues. Yeah, so basically, when we finally get to the front of the line at like 6 in the morning, we try to talk to a representative, and my mom on her phone, she found a flight, an Air Canada flight that somehow wasn't in their system, that was going from Montreal to Lisbon, Portugal, which is where we were supposed to go later in our trip anyway. So we said, okay, we'll just meet our friends there and just forget about Spain. So my mom finds the thing on her phone. The lady we were talking to, she didn't know what we were talking about. She found the flight on her computer eventually. However, they wanted to charge us like thousands of dollars to get those last 5 seats. Here's the problem. When your airline causes that much of an inconvenience and you act like we're being an inconvenience to you for requesting another flight, that is not the customer's problem. Like, as an airline, if you fuck up, you should hop on and try to like get passengers on the next flight out. Air Canada, for whatever reason, cannot do this to save their lives. However, things start to turn around a little bit. The lady we're talking to, she calls her manager over. The manager does get us on our flight, thank God. She gets us on that flight. It was leaving a couple of days later. But we managed to get on a flight from Montreal to Lisbon. Fine. And at the same time, another one of the representatives we were talking to managed to get our luggage out from the whole like big airport luggage storage thing, because we were trying to look for our luggage and baggage claim, and there were luggages from, I would say, 3, 4, 5 days beforehand. Like, there was so much lost luggage in the baggage claim. Like, so many bags that haven't been claimed by people because Air Canada totally fucked it up. So we managed to get our luggage. We stayed a couple of days in Montreal. Our flight from Montreal to Lisbon had no issues whatsoever, thank God. So that concludes sort of like the first leg of the journey. The second part of the journey is is much quicker. So on our last day in Portugal, my uncle gets a text saying that like our flight so what we're supposed to do is go from Lisbon to Toronto to Chicago. We had another connecting flight. So my uncle gets a text on his phone saying that our flight from Toronto to O'Hare to Chicago got canceled for whatever reason. We didn't think it was a big deal, and then he gets a text later on that says, "We have rebooked you on another flight a day later." So we didn't think that was a big deal because as long as we're in North America, we could have gotten a flight from Toronto to Chicago. There's a lot of flights that do go between those two destinations. As long as nothing happened between Lisbon and Toronto, our flight from, we would be fine and we could like suck it up. However, a little bit later, because our flight from from Toronto to Chicago got canceled, we got booted off our flight from Lisbon to Toronto. Like we couldn't get on the plane. They canceled our ticket for the plane for whatever reason. Why? I don't know. So that was a whole ordeal. And then during the night, me and my friend were sleeping. My uncle and my parents got on the phone with Air Canada for 4 hours trying to get a hold of customer service, telling them to get us on a new flight. A direct flight from Lisbon to O'Hare instead, because we didn't want to deal with any more of Air Canada's bullshit. So talk to the Air Canada representative, get us on another flight. We didn't care if it was another airline or not, but get us home to Chicago. So thank God this Air Canada representative is more understanding, because Air Canada is part of the what they call it, the Star Alliance. They managed to get us on an Air Portugal flight direct from Lisbon to Chicago. There were a few issues with that flight, but I'm not going to cover that. But we managed to get back to Chicago in like a reasonable amount of time. Like we've been home for a day now. So yeah. But that was the entire ordeal with Air Canada. So again, I apologize for this video kind of being all over the place because it's really complicated and it's just a hard story. It's an exhausting story to tell because there's so many things that just went wrong. Like every possible thing that you could imagine could go wrong with air travel went wrong with our experience with Air Canada. Like all you really have to do is search up Air Canada on Google, and like hundreds of like horror stories and articles will pop up about, you know, people having to sleep on the floor with newborn infants, people having to miss, you know, relatives' deaths because Air Canada wasn't able to prioritize those passengers or provide good enough customer service to cater to these people's desperate needs, which is what an airline should do. Like the total lack of care and distress, that's not the right word. The total lack of like care and like just total neglect of some workers in Air Canada is honestly just disgusting. And this is not like throwing hate on the people that did really help us. Like to the people that did really go above and beyond, the Montreal worker who said to my family, I am frustrated at my colleagues because they're supposed to be helping me out and they just don't seem to care. To those people, thank you. Like you really did help us, but you need to, I guess like the important thing to take away is that like you got to be the voice, and that if anyone is ever thinking about flying Air Canada, the things that you should keep in mind are just overall poor customer service and poor planning, lack of communication. It's just a recipe for a disaster, and that's really all there is to it. So to Air Canada, one more time, please get your shit together, or else you are going to lose a lot of customers. That's really all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching this rant. So if you have your own experiences with Air Canada, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear more horror stories. They're actually kind of entertaining by this point because like they're just crazy stories. So anyway, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, stay tuned for future content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.